Totem Pole Nation, Life Lessons Podcast. We're streaming vertically so we can go to YouTube Live. The Man from Seal. Today's episode brought to you by St. Pete Rejuvenate and Autograph.io. The topic for today is the words you say. When I say that, Paul, what do you think? The words you say.
I think of one of my former bosses. When I was in Korea, he would always say, "Words have meaning."
Mm.
And I didn't know, I didn't understand what he was talking about because I was just trying to find my way in the military. So I was the previous rank, the rank before lieutenant colonel. I was a major, and he was a full bird colonel, and he was my senior boss. So he was the brigade commander and he had like 10 of me's, 10 majors that worked for him. But he was the decision maker on the 10 of us making it to the next rank, because whatever he put on paper told the government that this individual is qualified, and I'm vouching for him to be the next rank. So he would, when we would brief him and what have you, he would always say, "Words have meaning. Words have meaning." And then even in casual conversations, he would say, "Paul, remember, words have meaning." So to tie that into what you say is, what I learned was, be careful what you say and who you're saying it to. And when you're talking to me, meaning when I was talking to him, be succinct and be very cautious of your words. And the most important thing is, do not be long-winded, because if you're succinct, more people believe you. The more you talk, the more people don't believe you. And I had to like brief and talk to a lot of people that were higher ranking than me. And the lesson was, the words you say have meaning. And I learned how to talk to people and get my point across in as few as words possible, because one, it opened it up for questions from the other person, and two, it didn't allow me to be unbelievable, because I'm rambling on, and the more you rambled on, again, the less the more eyebrows raised. Like, are you even believing what you're saying? So what you say is, as I've learned, is be succinct. And our motto for us lower ranking, we're briefing high ranking guys or gals, is, "I'm up, they see me, I'm gone."
What a great saying. I'm up, they see me, I'm gone. Reminds me
Correct.
of a baseball saying when you umpire. The ball's there, gloves down, dust yourself off, get back in the dugout. If the
Hmm.
ball's there and the gloves down, the dude is out. Don't be trying to be no detective and seeing if he got tagged. The ball's there, gloves down, dust yourself off, and get back in the dugout. Lambo, are you froze up? The words you say have meaning. The words you say are important. I was studying some great speakers, and they said that if they have an hour to talk, that's Lambo and his evil twin down there. If they have an hour or 2 hours to talk, they don't have to do much preparation. But when you only have a minute or two to talk, there's more preparation that goes into that, because every word has to be important. Lambo, when you hear the words you say, What you think of?
Well, I mean, depending on situations of life, I mean, it just comes down to perspective. Uh, give you advice. You can have as many people things. As far as the tone, sometimes when people um, talk like it sounds like they're aggressive. Worry about the tone. Just worry about the message that's being received.
Worry about the
Nowadays,
message.
yeah, worry about the message and not the tone. I think the words you say nowadays, you have to be very careful because this generation is getting a little soft and very sensitive. So I think at the end of the day, um, you can still be able to be brutally honest with others, but there's a certain way that you have to say things. Because
So,
in today's world, we're experiencing a lot of negativity. So we need to spread positivity uh, to others because we're here to uh, spread inspiration and not put other people down.
hey, that is. Go ahead, Paul. That was wonderful. Thank
No,
you, Lambo.
that was absolutely outstanding, and I want to add to that because I mean I like how I mean he talked about he made reference to young people being soft. I mean I could call it different things, but I thought it was interesting because I had yet to see the Tom Brady roast, but what I heard was this, and it ties into what he just said. The younger generation loved the roast. Older generation of people thought it was vulgar. Young people like to hear vulgarness and they like to hear controversial things on TikTok. Long as it's not directed towards them, they love it. But older people, and perhaps myself watching it, I'm like, oh, that didn't need to be said. I mean, but this generation loves it. They like hearing it, but they don't like it spoken to towards them. They love that stuff, that TikTok stuff, that catchy stuff, the stuff that catches attention. It can be as vulgar as it can be, and they love it, long as it's not directed at them. And
Mm.
again, I just found it fascinating that they said that older people, and I can see it because if my mom watched that, she'd be like, "Oh my God, turn that off! You can't say that. What are they doing?" So it's just interesting how, you know, I think that, and it goes back to my 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 experience, and again, this is a big, nice 360. Is in the military, I was used to being spoken to vulgarly, but I couldn't do that to the people that work for me. As the people got younger, I had to I had to be more of an explainer, and I almost felt like I worked for them.
Ooh, yeah, because you're a servant leader.
Yes, it wasn't do as I say. It's do as I say, but please explain to me why I'm doing it.
Mm.
So you had to be a little bit more careful and crafty because you don't have time to explain. So you got to know how to quickly, succinctly explain to them the why so we can get moving. Because I didn't get to ask why when I was a young soldier. I just did it. There's no asking anyone why anything.
Howard Lewis says Philly is goaded. Philly is goaded. Philadelphia, I love you. Philadelphia cheesesteaks. I'm pretty sure they even got Philadelphia cheesecake. How do you feel about Philadelphia Lambo?
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are just not going to look any good this year. I'm very passionate for the fans. I mean, the fans are very passionate in that city of Philadelphia. The Philly cheesesteaks are good. I don't know if y'all ever had Charlie's cheesesteaks, but Charlie's cheesesteaks is very great. It's very good. Um, Philly, they're very passionate fans. But I don't think the Eagles are going to do that good this year. I think Nick Sirianni is somewhat on the hot seat. I think he's getting exposed. Um, with all the talent that they have on offense, the offense shouldn't stink this year. It shouldn't stink. Now we have the NFL schedule possibly coming out next Thursday on May 15th, and we're going to try to do a live stream for when the schedule comes out so we can talk about matchups and whatnot. And I know half the stuff can't be played till it's on the field, but the Philadelphia Eagles are under a lot of pressure in the NFC East. I don't expect the Cowboys to do anything. I don't expect the Giants to do anything. But I think in order for Nick Sirianni to keep his job, the Eagles got to at least beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game to make the Super Bowl. If they have another playoff collapse, he's done. And then Bill Belichick probably goes to the Eagles.
Whoa.
Was that too loud for you, man? Did that scare you?
No, I think. Oh, whoa.
Look
I
at that
think
thing. It's not even large. Philadelphia. The words you say, Paul. Are you familiar with this song by The Roots from Philadelphia?
Yeah, that almighty amazing, ill, highly contagious, kamikaze style splash like a from into your body sound. Bit of the class, magna cum laude beats, bring the beats out me, flagrant, foul, rock, read, pipe, with deep type, disposition, keep them flipping, keep them playing their position, keep making the people listen what I spin, put them out on the limb, got tears, got blood, got sweat, leaking out of the pen, your fate is not setting the trend, you never listen to them, it's like trying to take a in the win, my home team doing visitors in, you don't test them, y'all standing close to the edge, so don't stress them, who the type built the lab, it's no question, the master, villain in black, with no steps in my sound, hitting you hard from every direction, your head and your shoulder, area your midsection. Down with the ground, with the niggas, the ground, king crown, hit it down, man, give it here, and don't say nothing, just give it here, don't say nothing, say team, check with the blunt, don't back, hit the ground, let the thing, cut the check. Give it here, don't say nothing, give it here, and don't say nothing.
All right, so the name of that song is Don't Say Nothing. And really, if you listen to it, he really ain't saying nothing. And he's getting paid for it. And that's what the people want to hear. So he's really saying something, but he's really saying nothing. Don't say nothing. Just give it here. Cut the check. Chance Fawcett. Man from Seattle. I'm thinking of a Dave Matthews song. So Much to Say. The Words You Say. That song by Dave Matthews Band. So Much to Say. Are you familiar with that song?
I am.
What do you think he's saying in that song? So Much to Say. Lambo, are you familiar with it?
A long time.
Yeah.
You know, so much to say. I mean, there's so much to say, but he has so much to say. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the lifetime to tell you it all.
Woo! Wow, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, so much to say and don't say nothing. It just reminds me.
Let's start it over here.
I say my hell is the closet I'm stuck inside. Can't see the light. And my heaven is a nice house in the sky. Got central heating, and I'm alright. Yeah. Can't see the light. locked up inside. Don't talk about it. Talk about the weather.
Man, I was just talking to my class the other day about that. Well, I had a college coach come in a couple days ago, and we're talking, then all of a sudden he goes, man, how about that weather? I mean, don't talk about the light. Keep it locked inside. Talk about the weather. When people talk about the weather, what are they really talking about, Paul?
I mean, if it's a sunny day and it's nice outside, they have nothing to talk about. But if the weather is raining, if the weather is windy, if the weather is cold, then they always have something to say.
Yeah, and like, is that going to affect your day? Let's keep going with this song. See what he's saying here, Lambo.
Can't see the light. Open up my head and let me out. A little baby, 'cause here we have been standing for a long, long time. Treading trails for a long, long time. Sometimes it's easy to be myself.
Sometimes.
I find it's better to be somebody else.
Man.
Mhm.
Sometimes I find, Lambo, it's easy to be myself. Sometimes it's easier to be someone else. Lambo, do you know where these guys are from?
No.
Paul, do you want to tell them?
They're straight from VA, from the streets of Charlottesville.
Man. So what did you take from the beginning of this song, Paul, on the words you say? And what is he saying in this song so far?
Oof. It's super deep. Sometimes it's easy to be myself, but sometimes I'd rather be with somebody else because it's like I you know like trying to explain something to someone or talk about for me like talking about the recruiting process, and then people look at me like I got horns coming out of my head sometimes because they don't believe truly what I'm saying, because it's like, no, it can't be like that. But then it's like, well, I'd rather just be somebody else and then have somebody else talk to me, because I'm tired of talking and tired of trying to get someone to understand where I'm coming from.
Wow. Man. Let's keep.
I see you young and soft, oh little baby, a little baby. 1 year of crying and the words deep up inside, deep into your mind. Yeah, so much to say, so much to say, so much to say, so much to say. So much to say, so much to say, so much to say, so much to say. 'Cause here we haven't stand for a long, long time. Trotting trails for a long, long time.
I find
sometimes it's easy to be myself. Sometimes I find it's better to be somebody else.
Man, what a deep song. I mean, it's like you could study that song in psychology class. Lambo, what did you take from that song?
Well, what I basically take from it, from the whole song, is sometimes there's better to leave things unsaid rather than said.
Why? Man, the depth of your wisdom is amazing. What does that mean to you? That sometimes it's better to leave things unsaid, Lambo. This is like
Well,
talking to Socrates.
well, I mean, you don't have to explain everything because sometimes people will never understand you. So you don't have to really uh, waste your time and try to talk about things that people don't understand because everybody every day is in different situations. So you explain yourself, it's just a waste of breath. Just go through it and go on to the next thing. You got to be focused on the next process.
Man, I mean, Paul, are you surprised at how deep the philosopher Lambo is? I mean, it's like we're with a modern day Sigmund Freud, a modern day Socrates, a Confucius. Are you surprised at all? Is he an old soul, Paul?
He is, but he learns a lot. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, the when you if you study sports like Lambo does,
Yes.
it builds a lot of different perspectives that you
Mm.
don't get from the outside world. And it's not like he's watching TV shows. He's watching real life reality TV. And, again, some things you want to talk about, and then, others, just like in all walks of sports, there's no reason to talk about it. And to me, as an example, in my life, I'm done talking with people about who the GOAT in basketball is, because the people that want to talk about, I'm not listening. And I know that they're not listening to me when they want to talk about somebody else being the GOAT. They're not listening. They're not listening. So I'd rather just keep what I have unsaid, because I'll just keep it moving, because I know who really is that person. And so do they, but they don't want it to be, so it's just.
Neurosis, thank you for your comment. See, we're not into that division stuff because we know one is a whole number. And when you try to divide one into two, you're making people choose sides. And that don't work on us because we don't have a side, because we are the side. I mean, Lambo, studying sports, the words you say, this may be one of the deepest podcasts on the planet Earth. And we don't have any control over who plays the game. We're only in control of what we can control. And what is that, Paul? What can we control in this game, the game of life?
Herself.
Ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lambo's taking on like a Belichickian, Nick Saban type worldview, that it's about the process. It's not about the outcome. On to Tampa Bay, on to the Buffalo Bills. Ain't that what he said, Lambo? Give us a little Belichickian wisdom.
On to Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati.
I think some reporter.
That's all he would say. On to Cincinnati.
I think some reporter asked him, "Are you gonna change quarterbacks? Is Tom Brady gonna be your starting quarterback? He's 39 years old. We're on to Cincinnati." And I guess Bill Belichick, when it comes to Bill Belichick, and y'all can criticize him and say whatever, and he's this, and him and Tom had their differences. That's every coach and the quarterback. They have their differences. The only thing is, of why Belichick and Brady was talked more, because they won more. You're right. The Patriots were the face of the league for a very long time. So when you win, there's going to be some, controversy, because people hate to see you win. I mean, they were basically like evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody hated the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, and it can go to baseball, where everybody got tired of the Yankees winning 26, 27 World Series. I mean, it just at the end of the day, um, everybody wants to win, but they don't know how to win. And winning is not easy if you don't go to the practice every day. You can't just go out there and just win. That's just not how it works. You have to go through the process on Thursday for the game to be on Friday for high school football. Same thing in college ball. You go through the process Monday through Friday. You have a game on Saturday, and then the NFL, you go through the same process Monday through Saturday, and you have a game on Sunday. So I wish people would enjoy the process more because everybody's so worried about the game and the outcome. But when you don't execute things in the process, you're not going to do well in the game. That's just how it
The
works.
words, the words you say, Paul, would Belichick and Saban be experts in the words you say? What would Belichick and Saban say? I mean, everything Saban says in his presser is important. And Belichick's got that fake news philosophy, kind of like Antonio Brown. Don't tell him anything, not saying nothing. Every team's a great team. Every team's well coached. It's like Bobby Bowden. Would Belichick and Saban, Paul, be experts in the words you say?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they so good at it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sheesh. Nothing. Um, hmm. They would be, these two. One, they're the best at using the media to talk to a whole lot of people. And you went and you said earlier, when you have a little finite amount of time, you prepare. Their press conference and pressers are not just like pull it out of their pocket. They have an agenda when they go in there that the people that are asking them questions don't know what their agenda is. And they're going to get to their agenda without answering your questions. And
Yeah,
yeah,
the
they
Fifth
don't
Amendment.
they
That's the Fifth Amendment. You don't have to answer their question.
no, but you're going to allow me to talk to my team, talk to the fans, and sometimes I'm talking to you, media, but it's on their terms all the time. Whatever the message is for that week. And again, like Lambo said, enjoying the process. The process starts with that presser for the next week for them because he's trying to get the attention of the team that just played, whether it was bad or it was good, the outcome of the previous week. But we have a no whole new process to go through that doesn't include who we just played. It includes somebody different. So we need to start right now, and I start with my preliminary message to the team for the week through you guys. Since you want to sit here and ask me questions, I'm going to sit here and, you know, put out my agenda for the week.
Chance, what's up, brother? BTW, what's up? You play basketball. Man, does everybody really think that the Joker is the best player in the NBA 3 years in a row?
No. And I'm gonna cut you off right there. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who got snubbed? Not only Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic got scrubbed as well, ladies and gentlemen. You're telling me that Luka Doncic had 34, 9, and 10 and has 30 triple doubles and first in points and I mean, good lord, Luka Doncic has been the guy. I had on some poll that Luka Doncic was the best player in the NBA. And I get it. Joker has size. I understand that he can pass the ball. I understand. I'm not taking anything away from Jokic. I just there was other guys. There's other candidates, dude. I just think it could have went to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because of the situation of OKC, of how nobody believed that OKC was going to be the #1 seed and be really this good with the young talented defense that they have. And we've been talking about Luka like he's going to be the next face of the NBA along with Anthony Edwards. And I don't know what they're basing this MVP off of. Are we basing it off championships? Are we based off shooting percentage,
Come in.
scoring, or what? Like, what are we basing this MVP off of?
I don't know. But okay, and I will throw in there a big but because I'm not. I'm really, you know, I don't know what people see in Luka Doncic, and the reason I say that is, man, you could be a great scorer, but Luka Doncic to me is the next coming of James Harden. He's a great player, but he's never going to win anything. You could put any.
Ooh.
I just noticed the last game I watched Luka. You could put anyone around him. I don't care who. They will never. He will never win a championship in the National Basketball Association. Never, ever. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Coach Taylor.
Luka's more caught up in one. He gets caught up in his own game, which slows the game down. If you ever watch the Dallas game, once the other team does something great and stuff, I'm gonna come clap back at them. He's not. That's when he doesn't play team ball. And for the next 3 minutes, it's just about Luka Doncic. And then if he doesn't get a call, he spends more time talking to the referees than getting back on defense. His style will never fit a championship team because the ball stops when he wants it to stop and he wants to show everyone who he is. And then we pick back up the game. But these moments of stoppage and play, just to have Luka time, that's not championship basketball, and it never will be.
Wow.
He's an individual. He's James Harden.
James
I don't think James Harden cares whether they win. Any team he's on wins a title or not. That's
Coach
him.
Taylor,
That's just
Coach Taylor's the one
no.
that
And I don't think it should be based off of numbers because SJA, like you said, took a team that no one believed in, that had no experience, and they played the NBA schedule and finished as the number 1 seed. That means something. That dude put it down every night. And they earned, they weren't given, they earned the number 1 seed because they beat the people in front of them. And they played every night. They didn't take nights off because you can't do that and be the 1 seed.
What's up, X Heavens? BTW, yes. We're coaches. Football, Chance. Where did he learn that from? Hashtag no King James. BTW. Who's your favorite NBA team? Mine's the Memphis Grizzlies as long as John Morant's playing. Go ahead, Lambo.
The Celtics, but I wanted to add on what Paul just said. Paul's right. But Coach Taylor is the one that said that the Dallas Mavericks were going to win the championship. But the last time I checked, the Dallas Mavericks didn't look too good against OKC. They did not look great at all. So it's scary. You can say Luka, Kyrie all you want, but Coach Taylor, I'm trying to put some wisdom in for you. The Dallas Mavericks don't have any true bigs. The Dallas Mavericks,
and even if they did, it wouldn't matter because he doesn't play team basketball. The minute he runs up to a team that plays team ball in a series, he's gonna lose.
He's a street baller, like Allen Iverson said.
Well, Coach Taylor, you said the Mavericks were gonna go to the finals, but
no, I said they're gonna win it. I picked them to win it.
Well, they're
not
gonna win it.
That's why it's called a prediction. That's why it's called a prediction.
It's the worst prediction in America because you're not understanding how good the Minnesota Timberwolves are too. The Minnesota Timberwolves are probably gonna sweep the Denver Nuggets.
I'm the person that said Anthony Edwards was better than Ja. I'm the person that said that Anthony Edwards was like Michael Jordan. I said that a long time ago.
Well,
how did the life lesson turn into NBA talk? Oh my gosh. Wow.
Well, hold on now. Wait a minute.
How did the life lesson turn into NBA talk?
Wait a minute. I didn't say until we said what team was going to win. I agree with the whole thing. Anthony Edwards is this, and that. We're not talking about players. When we win championships, we're talking about team effort. The better teams that are better than the Dallas Mavericks is right now OKC, and number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So despite them having Luka and Kyrie being undefeated in closeout games, and Kyrie with championship experience. At the end of the day, who's going to represent the West, which you're going to be wrong again, who's going to represent the West and who's going to the finals? The Minnesota Timberwolves. That is what's going to happen. Believe that.
Yeah, but that wasn't what you said a couple weeks ago, was it, Paul? Life lessons, the words you say.
I said
Who
the Denver
did he
Nuggets. You're
predict
right.
to make it
I
in the
was wrong.
West?
I said the Denver Nuggets. I probably said Denver Nuggets is going to represent. I was right.
Well, they
but,
still
but
might.
No. But also at the start of Total Pool Sports, in the beginning of the series, I said the Timberwolves is going to win game 2. And I said when they're going to win game 2, they're going to win the series. That is what I said.
MK said Lambeau is still talking about NBA man. The words you say. Paul, how do you feel about this? MK, do you have your quote of the day? The words you say, NBA. Never broke again. That's a lie. Paul, who did he pick? What was the words he said? Hello, savages. The Netherlands salutes. Paul, have you ever been to the Netherlands?
I sure have.
Wow. He says it's a lot more expensive than the Netherlands. It's a lot cheaper to go to Germany to buy your groceries.
Yes.
What do you think, Paul? What do you think? Who did Lambeau? What did he say? And here's the quote of the day. Maybe, Paul, this will lead us into something.
Good. That's what I was waiting for. Thanks, MK.
That's why you're part of the team, MK. Break down big goals into small, that's a big word, sequential steps backwards from the end. Start completing the steps of the goal at the beginning. Revise and rearrange, but do not stop putting the effort. Man, that's like starting with the end in mind. Chance says, better to trip over your feet than your tongue. And MK said, you're welcome, Paul. Let's go back to the quote of the day. Paul, break down big goals into small steps backwards from the end. Begin with the end in mind. What does that make you think of, Paul, in your life experience and life lessons you've had over the last 50 years on the planet, or 45, however old you are?
Okay. Well, I'll make it easy. And thanks again, MK, for that. It's just like a plate of food. You can't eat it all in one in one bite. You start with your protein, then your vegetables, then your carb. But you have to have a method to eating a plate of food. Just like you have to have a method to writing a paper.
Ooh.
And this is where it's really good of what she said. Okay, you have the idea of your paper. You build it. It's built from introduction, your 3 paragraphs of talk about what you're saying, and then your conclusion is another paragraph. 5 paragraphs. But if you start with the beginning, and then you what you want the end result to be, it allows you to fill in the middle. But some people go through it from A to Z. But sometimes it's better to go A, Z, and then fill in the in between, because you know where you're trying to get to, but you know what you want to open up and tell everybody what this paper is about. So I like that, because you're doing it in small chunks. The opening is a small chunk. It's not the whole paper, and the conclusion is a small chunk. It's not the whole paper. And each succinct paragraph has a story of its own that builds onto the next one until you get to the conclusion. So small chunks. You got to develop the idea, and you got to know where you want to go. The closing, the conclusion.
When you go on a trip, you just don't leave and say, hey, we're going to go on vacation somewhere. You have a destination. You have to know your destination. But to quote the Odyssey, life isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. And I think, Lambeau, that's a great segue into it's all about the process. Do your job, Bill Belichick said. Lambo, what are you thinking? What are you feeling about the quote of the day?
People just have to be consistent and stop worrying about others, because everybody is so worried about the end that they're not focused on the process. So at the end of the day, stop worrying about other people, because their process is different than yours. Their timeline is different than yours. Their destination is different than yours as well. So let's stop worrying about other people and focus on yourself and focus on your goals, because when you focus on somebody else, your goals are going to get delayed, distracted, and you're not going to get shit done.
MK, I got to go to school, so I hope everyone has a great day. Bye-bye. We love you. And, man, what a great addition MK is to the Life Lessons podcast. Paul, what are you thinking from what Lambo said, the words you say, Life Lessons podcast today, everything we've done and talked about today? What recruiting? I think this is a great segue into what you and your son are going through when dealing with college recruiting for a rising senior in high school. What do you think?
The end result is to be walking on a campus one day and being part of a locker room and being part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
But just as if I decided today I was going to go skiing in the Rocky Mountains, I have to go find my skis. I got to know what I'm driving. I got to know where I'm stopping to get gas, where I'm spending the night on the trip out there, where I'm eating when I'm on my way out there. And I got to know what the weather's going to be when I get there, so I know what to bring. And same thing. You gotta. It goes back to what MK said. You got to break it into little chunks. And again, sometimes, and you know me, I get so caught up in the end game in this process. But then I step back, and when we have conversations like this, it makes me go, wait a minute, slow your roll, little bites at a time. What should I be working on today to get me to that end result? Instead of looking at the shiny toy on the shelf. I have to do something today that has very little to do with the end result, but it builds towards that. I can't be focused on the end result. I got to be on the ground right now working. What can I do on May 9th to put me to better put me in a position to be at that end game? But today's the focus, not that.
Amen. Lambo, anything you want to end with?
Be consistent, trust the process, and you got to keep moving forward. If you want to be the best of something, you have to work on your craft. It's all about working on your craft. All you young generation people calling everybody the GOAT, but y'all don't understand the process and how much work and what sacrifices and adversity they went through. So you have to learn how to face adversity.
Man, true wisdom. How old are you now, Lambo?
25.
Wow. Such wisdom at 25. Roll Tide. Blitz, Bama, Blitz. This has been Life Lessons Podcast. We love y'all.